The third episode.
Oh, we're
Hello.
live.
Now we're live.
We're now
Welcome,
live.
welcome to the third episode of Stuart and Trevor chatting about
Yeah.
games.
Yeah, console shock. Well, it's console shock radio, I guess, isn't it? I know
Console
people
Shock
say
Radio. Yes,
podcast,
I
but
like it. I like it.
yeah, podcast is kind of a bit passe now, isn't it? Because not everybody has an iPod, or well, you've got an iPhone if you have an Apple device, and you've got whatever other phone that you might have otherwise. So the pod part of it has become a bit irrelevant, I think. A
Which
lot of
should
people
be
know what
called Smartphone Cast,
yeah, audio cast.
Audio Cast.
I guess it's radio though, isn't it? It's
Yeah, yeah, that's the same as a radio. Yeah, but I
console
imagine
shock radio.
most people must listen to this through their smartphones.
Yeah.
Yeah, or computers and
Just
stuff like
mini
that.
device cast.
So, Trevor, the big news today was Microsoft have now sold over 1 million Xbox Ones in the UK. Now, I know you're one of them. Are you surprised by that?
I'm actually two of them.
You've got two of them.
Like, what? Yeah, I've got one,
Yeah,
and for a little time, me and my girlfriend shared it. And my girlfriend likes doing like the sort of fitness games and the rhythm, dancing sort of games,
yeah.
which she would originally use the Wii for. And then she got started to get into like Just Dance on Xbox One, and then the Zumba game. And it got to the point where she wanted to use it, most nights to exercise with, and I just wanted to play a game. So I thought, let's just get another one. So I've got my own one. I've got a little. So I think I've mentioned it on the previous console shop
Mm.
radio. But I think I've got like a little, almost like a couple of coffee tables that are bolted together that I chuck the telly on top with my sort of frequently used consoles inside. So I have my own little separate audio visual unit, and my girlfriend has her Xbox plugged into just the main sort of living room telly.
So now I'm not casting assertions about your relationship here, and but
Please do.
now I know you, Trevor. You're in a loving relationship with your lovely girlfriend
Thank
Tina.
you. I am indeed, yes. As
So
are you.
why could you not share the machines? I know you're talking about you might want to play one, and then Tina
Yeah,
want to play it at the same time. Now,
yeah,
relationships, in my opinion, are all built on compromise.
that's right.
Now, I'm maybe being a little bit, oh, I don't know, trying to get a rise out of you, but I know you got a PS4 and a
Yes,
you as well. So two Xbox Ones, surely
yeah.
that's one too many.
Well, like I said, normally it would be yes, but because of the amount that my girlfriend uses her Xbox and the
Yeah,
amount that I use mine just for general gaming, it
yeah,
actually is a little bit of a necessity. And also, I like to have a separate system from the main living room TV because that will get used for other things. My girlfriend has various TV shows she watches and she does her Xbox stuff,
yeah,
sometimes for a couple of hours. Sometimes, 4 times of the week. Whereas there's times when I come home from work and I just want to sit and play a game on the
yeah.
Xbox One, and I can do that at the same time she's doing her stuff. And as you know, because you're the same as me in this regard, we're into sport as well, and
Mm,
there's often a lot of sport on telly. So sometimes I want to be able to play a game and sort of have one eye on some football match or NFL or something,
mm.
and I can do that simultaneously. Um, well, I understand you have a similar setup, don't you? You have your own separate little unit where you have a small.
I do. In all honesty, I've
What's
got
what's your setup then?
in my living room. I've got my current gen system, so my PS4, and I've got my Wii U.
Yeah,
And then I'll be honest, it's mainly used as an office, spare bedroom sort of space where lots of stuff gets chucked mainly. And that's got my Xbox 360 in. That's got PS3. It's got my old
yeah.
PS2. But what's quite good is I've actually got an old CRT TV in there. So I have all the old systems like
Retro gaming.
the Mega Drive. They're all plugged into it. So the whole idea is I can play those games when my girlfriend wants to sort of watch TV, or I just want to go in there and sort of chill out and
You can very easily bung on whatever console you want because you have something plumbed in somewhere in the house without disturbing the.
Exactly, and I've got the problem which I think most guys do.
Yeah.
You're not included in this,
Well,
and
one
where
thing I would say is I'm very fortunate, and I'm thankful for having a girlfriend that's like this. But I have a girlfriend that is also quite into gadgets and tech, so
yeah,
she kind of understands why I'm into this stuff. Whereas, not I know it's a stereotype that women aren't into that and men are, but there are plenty of girls that are into that stuff. I know a lot personally, but most of the people I know that have a girlfriend, they're kind of like the same age as them, or whatever. Most of the time, it is the guy that's into that stuff. So yeah, you have to
yeah.
sort of
I mean,
have a.
my girlfriend, she's got an iPad, and not most people, and she's got a Kindle and things like that, and she actually works in IT, but actually playing games on a computer game system, it's not something she's. Well, saying that, we played a little bit of Mario Kart earlier in the year, and
Yeah.
sort of previously owned Zumba and stuff like that,
Wouldn't
and
say it was a hobby. You wouldn't say she was a gamer in the sense that, well, someone that plays Candy Crush for hours on end a week technically is a gamer. And I don't want to be one of those people that's like, oh, you're not playing real games unless it's like Mass Effect and Grand Theft Auto, which is not true because it is a game. It's just as valid if it's on Facebook as it is on a PS4 or whatever. But yeah, I would think, like, I don't know, a AAA game is probably what you would call it, I suppose, if you're the sort of person that
well, I always
plays
understand
Mass Effect and all
a
those.
gamer to me
Yeah.
is doesn't include casual games. So it sounds awful, but if you play,
Now you do have to kind of label it that, don't you? Otherwise people don't know what you're
yeah,
talking about. Yeah.
if you play iPad games, or if you play smartphone games, or even if you maybe picked up a Wii in the last generation, and all you really enjoy playing was maybe sort of the Just Dance or a few of the party games, but you wouldn't really choose to pick up a console
Yeah.
and purchase the latest games. I'll describe a gamer as a console gamer or a PC gamer.
That plays the triple A titles you
Oh,
first put.
well, I mean, yeah, not necessarily those. It's drop the iPad. It's more the it's just really sort of console gaming in general, because they just may play sport games on there, or they may just play Call of Duty,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
or
And any game normal, I guess you would say you sit down in front of a dedicated video game system that you've purposely bought to game on.
mm,
Those sort of people.
I think that, and people may disagree with that, and I haven't got a problem with that, but I
I
think
agree.
someone
I think it's
who
the best. It is the best description. Well, like I said, I mean, I wouldn't consider my girlfriend to be one of those sort of gamers that has a console purely to play your Call of Duties and your classic
mm,
Assassin's Creed and all those sort of Grand Theft Auto, all those games that you typically associate with hardcore gaming. She does gaming in her own way, but yeah. So yeah, there is a distinction, and she's not like me in that respect, whereas I am that traditional gamer who plays your
yeah.
AAA games that we've been talking about.
I think that's it. Yeah, if you play, if you've got a console, you follow what that's being a gamer. You're not someone who just plays games. You're a bit
Yeah.
more involved with it, and you know what's coming out. You're aware of the surroundings and what you like, and the genre of games that
Yeah,
you
you
do,
kind
and
of
a
keep
bit
up
more
with
to
the
it, I think.
news. Yeah, you kind of go on IGN all the time. I mean, I have IGN and Eurogame. All those are open every day. I'm always checking out the latest news. It's a hobby. It's something that takes up a lot of your time,
Yeah.
and spend loads of money on it. And we're just talking about the fact I have to have my own Xbox One. I've also got a PS4. I've just got into PC gaming recently. I've got
Mm.
a Wii U. So only a casual gamer wouldn't spend that amount of money. So yeah,
Yeah, exactly. And I saw on your feed this morning, you just bought what was it, WWE
2K15.
2K15.
Yeah, I haven't actually installed it yet. That's one of the joys of the new consoles is the mandatory installs, which are a
Mm,
little bit annoying. They're not quite as simple as they made out in sort of the 2013 E3 You know, when they were like, you have to install your games, but don't worry, when they're like 1% complete, you can play. Well, I didn't say that exactly, but you know,
Yeah.
uh, I've also used up the hard drive on my Xbox One.
Oh, have you
Um,
really?
I have, yeah.
Oh, that's
And it's not
too much porn on there, mate. Honestly, you're
you
gonna
could call
stream
it
it
that,
all.
actually, yeah. It's not because I've got tons of games.
What's that?
It's not even because I've got tons of games on it. I've only got maybe installed about seven games that are actually installed.
Yeah,
Um,
they were saying that with a 500 GB hard drive, you can get on average 15 to 16 games installed. And I thought, okay, that's fair. But then if you can only get 7, now now that sounds. I mean, I've installed a few games on where you have to on your PS4, and they
yeah,
usually come in about 40 GB a piece. So once you take out the operating system, that leaves you 400
it was less than that, I think.
gigabytes. So
Yeah, I
yeah,
think it was about 360 you had on the Xbox One after the OS. So I was probably actually, I think I've got a bit more than 7 games. I've got about 8 or 9 games,
have
and
you
I've
got
got
any
other
few
bits.
demos and stuff as well, or
I've got what? Sorry.
have you got some demos installed as well, or
Yeah, I mean, I actually had to delete one to get GTA 5 on my Xbox One. I had Forza Horizon 2, which I never actually got to play. But I just downloaded it because I thought, I might give it a go. And that was like 10 gig, and that was a demo. And I was like, geez.
really?
Yeah, so yeah, I had to delete. There's a couple of things I had to delete. But you can pop in a USB. It has to be a USB 3 hard drive, and I do have one spare, which I'll probably have to rely on from this point on to bung more games on.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, you can use that to expand the capacity. You can, of course, there is now this Call of Duty edition Xbox One that has a 1 terabyte hard drive, but I think it looks pretty ugly.
Yeah,
So I'm
Trevor,
waiting for
Trevor, do not buy a third Xbox
a.
One.
Well, I wouldn't. Well, how it would work is I would trade in the old one,
Yeah,
and
okay, that makes sense.
yeah, obviously, to get the new one, or I guess I'd, maybe make myself broke 1 month and buy the extra one and transfer everything across, and then sell the old one. That might work better because I won't lose everything then. But yeah, I'm waiting for the white Xbox One to become a 1 terabyte version because there is one out that is 500 gig. But when they do a white 1 terabyte, because I really like how that one looks, then I'll sort of do a trade-in jobby, and get the bigger capacity. Because yeah, it gets eaten up very quickly. You'd be
Oh,
surprised.
but what do you think? Now, I was watching you for about 7 seconds the other night playing Grand Theft Auto on Twitch. Now, I
Yeah,
wasn't only watching you for 7 seconds. It was just the connection was so poor.
I think it
I,
crashed as well for me.
it's all pixelated, and I don't know if that was the internet at my end, the software I was using on my iPad, or it was your
Bit of
internet,
everything, I think. Yeah,
or a little bit of everything. But what
yeah.
is Grand Theft Auto? How much better is it on the Xbox One? And would you is it worth upgrading if you've completed
So
it?
you didn't get it.
I've not got it yet. I will pick it up because I'd love to see what it looks like and try the first person mode. But the problem is I've completed
Got
it.
it.
But I just have to do it all again.
Yeah,
So part of me, I thought, oh, I don't want
yeah.
to do
There's
it all
that,
again.
isn't there?
I don't spend
Yeah,
50
because I
pounds
remember actually.
just to get the new graphics.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's a few sort of points raised here. Just before I tell you what I think of the game, I mean, I remember you sort of had this video with Dan, you're doing one of your YouTube videos for your shop, Playnation Games. If you don't know about that, listen to this, you should go and look them up on YouTube.
Thank you.
Um, and you were talking about remakes. Now, to me, they're not anything new, so I don't really understand. Well, I understand why people are like, it's just like they're just double dipping, It's just a cynical
Yeah.
money-making ploy. Some of them made sense, and you made a really good point on your videos where The Last of Us, which some people were like, oh, they're just double dipping and taking advantage of people. That made sense because the Xbox 360 was the more popular console in the
Mm.
last gen in the UK. I know the sales figures they actually ended up about the same in the end, but in the UK it was, and you could probably vouch for this from having been having shops
Yeah,
owning
definitely.
shops that yeah. you would sell. Would you say was there double the amount of 360 sales,
I think
or
it's 60-40.
it evened
Or
up more, didn't it, as when you got
towards the
past
end, yeah.
2010? Yeah, because people were still saying the PS3's failed. It's failed, even as recent as 2009. But it very slowly clawed its way back. But anyway, so yeah, it made sense to release The Last of Us because a lot of people didn't have a PS3; they had a 360. So it was a good idea to re-release it on the PS4 because a lot of those 360 people bought a PS4 because they were disillusioned with the Xbox One.
Mm.
Um, so that was a good idea. But Grand Theft Auto, that wasn't the case. But
Mm.
it's nothing new. I mean, if you think back in the day, Street Fighter 2, they milked the crap out of that. So you'd go out and you'd buy with your Super Nintendo. So we're looking in the UK. This would have been 1992 when the Super Nintendo came out.
Mm.
Uh, got it literally 2 years after Japan. Oh, those were the days, eh? Um, so yeah, it came. Street Fighter 2 came out. You paid £60 for that, if unless you got it with your Super Nintendo. And then a year later, you had Street Fighter 2 Turbo, and that was another £60. It wasn't a budget like Ultra Street Fighter 4 was recently, where they only charged you 20 quid or £15. I can't remember what it was, because that was just it was an upgrade to the previous Street Fighter 4. But
Mm.
Turbo, it was full whack again, 60 quid, and all it was you could play two people could play the same character, so you could have Ken versus Ken, and you got to play one of the four bosses, and you could change the speed of gameplay. That was it.
Yeah.
But no one really complained in those days. I mean, I didn't. I got my parents to get it for me. So I'm talking about the Mega Drive version. But I didn't have a SNES, so I guess I wasn't double dipping. But there were plenty of people that got it again. And then you had Super Street Fighter 2, which was another 60 quid, which was it just I had a few more modes, but it was the same game. So it's nothing new really. And you get although I don't recall the last gen had a big flurry of HD enhanced versions of games so soon after the originals came out,
No, and
as I
that's.
remember. I don't think there was.
I mean, going back to the video, it's games like Sleeping Dogs, which they're 7 out of 10,
Yeah,
they're 8 out of 10.
Tomb Raider.
It's a good game, and it was getting it was getting an upgrade, and I'm like, okay, well, that's got an
Yeah,
upgrade,
and I think you get
brilliant.
the DLC included.
And okay, so yes, the game of
Yeah,
the year
yeah,
one with the DLC, but no, there wasn't. In my opinion, there was never people never screaming out for I've got to play Sleeping Dogs, and that's why, in my opinion, I was sort of in that video. I was annoyed about sort of Nintendo re-releasing game
yeah.
after game after Zelda. They're constantly re-releasing
They've gone a bit
the,
mental,
the
haven't they?
same the same game again and again and again. Now, but
Yeah,
with Grand Theft Auto, for me, that is a game that I will pick up. I'm not going to pick it up now because I've got a few other games that I want to do first, and then I
yeah.
will go back to that. But I won't really get the same out of it as what I did on the Xbox 360. I'll get it on the PS4,
First time around.
but
Yeah,
I think I'll try and do the online. I'll try and get into that, or I'll just do, try and do all those extra little missions, and I'll try and get something else out of it. But I'm interested to see because I think with Grand Theft Auto 5, it's come back and they put the first person mode in there. But I remember saying to someone oh yeah, they'll re-release it on the PS4, but it'll come with the DLC, and no DLCs come out for it.
no, I mean, I was expecting it to be like GTA 4, where you get these kind of back in the day, they'd be called expansion packs if it was a PC
Yeah.
or something, where it'd be like basically a whole new game using the same game, if that makes sense. You have brand new missions of another 10 hours worth of gameplay. But they haven't come out with that yet. Maybe by the end of next year they'll have something like the Lost and the Damned and the Ballad of Gay Tony and that. But there's nothing like that yet.
Mm. But that's exactly what I'd love to see is them to come out with some sort of DLC for it because that would invigorate my interest back into Grand Theft Auto
Yeah.
and I'm almost tempted to go, well, I know there'll be a DLC. Of course, there's going to be DLC, but this is a great example of where DLC. I really want DLC. Now, I don't know if you know my opinion of DLC, Trevor, but
I'm a bit mixed personally. Something like The Last of Us, where you got basically a whole, you had the Left Behind, which I haven't started yet. It's on my list of gaming backlog, which is getting bigger by the day. But yeah, it's on there, and I want to do it because it's supposed to be quite good. But that isn't too bad because it's like you've got a whole new campaign to go through.
exactly, you've hit the nail on the head. Where I want a game that's 100% a whole game with a start, a middle, and an end. So Grand Theft Auto,
Yes.
of us are great examples of that. So when I get to the end of it, I feel everything's been resolved. Okay, and then the DLC comes out. It will be another side story, or just be one of the characters that we met for a moment, and it'll be following his life within the same world. That's what I'm kind of looking for. I don't want to feel, oh, hang on, this should have been part of the main game.
Yeah,
Because
exactly. Yeah.
you know, and a good example, another good example of is I've just brought the Mario Kart 8 DLC, and that for Mario Kart 8, for people who don't know, they give you 32 tracks. Now, not a lot of racing games give you 32 tracks, loads of modes, loads of cups.
It's almost
The only thing was the battle mode I didn't really like, but they've come out with DLC, which is only about sort of £7 or £8, and it's 8 more tracks. So it's 2 more cups, and I'm absolutely brilliant. I'm going to start playing that game again now. And
That Mario Kart 64 was like 8 tracks, and that was like a whole £70 game, back in the day.
exactly. So for me, and I can't really think of any examples of where you almost get DLC on day one, and
I think
if you want to get the proper ending, you
yeah,
have to get this
Capcom's
DLC.
got a lot of bad press because they keep putting DLC on the disc for games like Street
Oh,
Fighter X Tekken.
yeah.
And it's kind of weird because at the end of the day, what difference does it make if you have to download it off a server, or if they delay the release by a couple of months to make you feel like it is actually something they've thought of afterwards?
Mm.
I don't really think it makes that much difference, but some people are like it's on the disc. It should just be given to me. It's part of the 50 quid I spent.
Exactly. You want the DLC to be like. Do you remember when you used to have PC games back in the day when you
Expansion
brought?
packs.
Yeah, you've got what was it? Oh, I can't remember it. Sort of
We'd have
Age of
something like
Empire.
Morrowind or something, wouldn't you? And you'd have like an extra couple of campaigns you could buy. Well, I think you could. That was in the early days of downloading expansion packs, and I think they were still called expansion packs. But you could go to a
Mm.
shop and buy a disc in its own separate box that needed
E-
the
e-
original game.
Exactly. That's what I want because what I feel now is computer game companies they'll make an 8 hour campaign and then they'll actually cut it down to a 6 hour campaign and
They
give you
actually
the
sell
final
them.
2 hour campaign.
Yeah, all along.
Almost you can purchase this a week after when you originally after the release date. So
Yeah, I mean,
hold
when
on.
you think, but what I mentioned Street Fighter 2 as an example, with the original, you had the 4 boss characters you couldn't play as. Now, they didn't put those 4 characters in there when they were developing it because later on they knew they were going to release a DLC where you could play as them.
Mm,
They only did it because people were hacking the arcade machine to allow people to play as the boss characters, and they were like, crap, we better like make our own official version where you can do that. We
mm,
didn't know people were going to do that. And silly things where fireballs that go and have different colours and different coloured like costumes. That
mm.
got added in because people were doing it themselves illegally. Well, it was illegal, but not officially, should we say? So yeah, that was because they just listened to the audience and they wanted more and they gave it to them. Now this is all thought of ahead of time.
Mm, exactly. But I think I felt with Grand Theft Auto, the fact that the game came out a year ago, well, over a year ago, about 13 months ago, and the fact that no DLC has come out for it, and they've almost, I can just feel that they're probably working on it now. So I'll spend my £15, my £10 to get the DLC for Grand Theft Auto, and that'll be a whole nother 20 missions,
Yeah.
and I'll play that, and I'll be like, wow, brilliant! This is such a good game, and it's got its own. It doesn't feel like it's the main game, which you should have got,
Brand new
but you
experience.
didn't get because they're worried about sales figures. So they thought they'll try and make some more money out of DLC, and so on. But I'm sure we could talk for hours about DLC.
Well, the thing with Grand Theft Auto 5 was it came out at a very interesting time. It came out when it was right on the eve of the next gen consoles. So my feeling is that they obviously would have got development kits for the prototype next gen consoles probably around 2010 or 2011, because Microsoft and Sony Sony I think said they were working on the PS4 in 2008. So
Really?
Rockstar would have got a development kit around 2010 when they were already sort of balls deep in making GTA 5. So they thought, right, well, we're not sure when this console's going to come out. It's if the regular cycles are anything to go by, it's probably going to be maybe in a year or 2 years, so 2011, 2012. So we might have to simultaneously develop this game for current gen, as in 360, PS3, and just in case it does come out in 2012, we should probably make a version as well for the next gen consoles, as we've got the hardware now to work on. Probably thinking it would be a couple of years earlier than it ended up being. It might have even been the case that they were like, this was going to be a launch game for the next gen consoles, and it wasn't. And if it turns out it was going to be a launch game, they might have been like, you know what, we might not release it for the 360, but the time frame for these consoles, or the lifespan, it was longer than we thought. So in the end, they were like, well, it looks like we're going to have to release the version we were developing for the 360 already, but because we've been working on this next gen version and the consoles are now out, maybe we shouldn't throw all that work away and we should just release it. And we've got a year, to go. We'll give it a year and we'll bolt on some things like the first person mode and everything, and dial up some of the graphics settings on some of the stuff to account for the better hardware, and release it. So that's how I think that planned out. I don't think it was a cynical, let's make everybody pay twice for the same game. So
No, I'll be honest with you, with a game like Grand Theft Auto, it's such a good game, and the point is, I could buy that today, and I know that hopefully I'd get into the online mode, do all the I don't think the heists are out yet, but all of the online side of it, I could easily play through it again and enjoy it just as much as I did the first time, and go and try and do all of the extra missions. So from my point of view is, Grand Theft Auto, it can really do whatever it wants because it's such a quality game, and I'll bring up another point. I remember when I pre-ordered my PS4.
Yeah.
Back in, I think it was in May or something, when all the E3 stuff was coming out.
I literally did it. Yeah.
That's why I
pre-order.
put my mask and all of that. So I pre-ordered it, and then Grand Theft Auto came, so I got that, and I remember playing that and thinking, well, hold on, this game is absolutely immense. The graphics, everything, how immersive it is, and what if I just pre-ordered PS4 for £350?
It looked as good as
games, surely you can't get games that look better than this. And since that day, I'm thinking, well, I'm still going that Grand Theft Auto is one of my favourite. Grand Theft Auto 5 is one of my favourite games of the last 12 months.
Well, it's actually one of the greatest games ever made. I think in terms of production, it's absolutely. I don't really understand how they made the game. It's just ridiculous how detailed it is.
I mean, you look at that game, and then you look at Perfect Dark Zero, and you look at early,
8 years of getting to know the hardware and getting better at programming it. You can really see
it's
like different
generation of games consoles within. Well, I don't even know the number. The 7th generation, is it?
I think it is 7th, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, it's very similar. If you look at the NES, you compare Mario Brothers 1, which came out in 1985, to Mario Brothers 3, and they look like they could almost be on different consoles. That is a good example of progression on the same console, development, and game quality going up.
Well,
Altered Beast, compare Altered Beast to Virtua Racing on like the Mega Drive, two games that came out at different parts of from the start and the end, bookending the lifespan, or Metal Gear Solid and Ridge Racer on the PS1.
Exactly, that's with the PS4. I haven't seen it yet, but I'm looking forward to that game that comes out. Maybe it's Far Cry 4, maybe it's new Assassin's Creed, or maybe Grand Theft Auto with the new hyped up graphics.
Well, what I will do is, as you asked me, we kind of trailed off a bit. Yeah, you asked me what I think of it. I've had it for like 3 days now.
Hmm.
And you know what? I'm happy I spent the money. Although I was a little bit, I probably think sensible, because when I heard there was a next gen version of GTA 5, I didn't actually complete it originally. I got about three-quarters of the way into the single player campaign. I didn't touch online.
Hmm.
I think I got another game that came out, and it was something rubbish like Call of Duty Ghosts. I picked it up for cheap, or Wolfenstein: The New Order or something, and I started playing that instead.
Yeah.
It distracted me from Grand Theft Auto 5, and I got a fair way into it, and I was kind of, I got my fix, I think, after a few months of playing it. And so yeah, I thought, you know what, I'll sell the old version and I'll use the cash to put it towards a pre-order of the new one, and that's what I did. So I didn't. I saved a bit of money by doing that. But yeah, I pre-ordered it as soon as I heard there was a next-gen version, because the idea of how good it looked already, what could it do with something that's, I don't know how many times more powerful an Xbox One is than the 360. Normally it's times 10 is the increase in power between gens. I don't know if that's the case this time. A lot of people say it's the weakest of any, jump to between generations. I'm not sure it is. It might be though. But anyway, yeah. So I got it, and I've had it for a couple of days now, and yeah, I'm really happy. So I didn't complete the campaign originally. I got about three-quarters of the way in, but I can't remember every single mission that you had to do to get that far. Though what they do come back to, you'll think, oh yeah, I remember doing that. I remember doing that.
Hmm.
I'm only a couple of hours into it now. But yeah, the first person mode, I'm using that a lot more than I thought I would. It's very disorientating when you first do it, although
Yeah.
it's basically just Skyrim. Skyrim, you could flick between first person and first person. It's not really a problem, and I tend to find with Skyrim, when I was just walking around in Skyrim, I was in third person mode. When I had to fight someone, or I was in a dungeon. I would go into first person mode, and there's certain situations when I find first person mode annoying, like cover.
Yeah.
When you're in a fire battle, a firefight with a bunch of guys, and I found that out in the very first sequence when you're robbing that bank with Trevor and Michael, and you have to, there's a few shootouts in that. The cover doesn't work very well in first person mode, but you can adjust it so that you can be in first person mode. When you hit cover, you'll automatically jump to third person. You can fine tune it. But there's kind of funny things, like when you're in the car in first person mode and you're driving around, you kind of feel like you need to obey the traffic laws. I find that I'm driving around in first person, I'm like stopping at red lights and I'm trying to stay nicely behind other cars. I don't know why, it's just a weird instinctual thing. And also when there's people in the car with you, you can look at them and they're talking to you, and they're actually fully animated and they're looking at you talking to you. And
Yeah.
you do little things as well, like you can give people up yours when they bang into you.
Oh,
People react
really? That's quite
ramming into
interesting.
them. Like today, I was just before I got on the Hangout, Google Hangout with you. I got into like this weird ramming cars fight with someone. I rammed this dude's car, and then he rammed me back. And initially, I thought, oh, that's just him trying to get around me, and he bumped into me. But no, he actually made a point of moving his car, facing me, and hitting me in his car, and then he flipped me the bird. And I was like,
That's what they do though on Grand Theft Auto is.
but this is in first person mode. It's like it's something that it gives it a completely different dimension.
Hmm.
And also there's other weird little things that you do instinctively, like when someone talks to you and they're sat next to you in the car, you kind of feel like you have to look at them. So you sort of move the stick to look at them. Obviously, you're trying to drive, so it's not the best idea. But there's also little things like if you've been following the news on the game, you'll know this. But like the dashboards are fully um, rendered, and they've got like actual speedometers, and
Hmm.
the radio will show you as a little LCD screen that actually shows you the radio station you're on will be displayed along with the actual song that's being played. And if you've got like the Franklin's dog Chop, he has little animations that he does when he's sat in the car seat next to you, which they wouldn't have even programmed in the original version, because you would never be able to see them. Um, And yeah, and you can notice the extra lines of resolution as well. There's more animals. There's cats. There's now
There's a
cats.
there's a lot more traffic apparently on the
It's a little
roads.
bit harder to drive. Yeah, I'm crashing
Mm,
more because there's a lot more traffic. The character models, I haven't noticed them like, oh my god, they look so much better.
mm.
But yeah, it's a lot. It doesn't like get choppy when you're in heavy traffic. It sort of hits 30 frames a second more consistently.
Mm.
Um, and yeah, I'm actually enjoying it. I mean, I pre-ordered it, so I've got like $1 million in-game cash. Like you get 500 grand for the story mode and 500 for online. I'm planning on playing online. Uh, I never did it on the original version, but I'm gonna give it a go. I haven't done it yet, but I'm planning on it. Um, and yeah, I'm gonna try and get through the campaign, try and finish it this time. And yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's also the things that you get on the next gen consoles that you couldn't do before, like streaming it on Twitch. Well, you could, but you had to get an external bit of hardware and have it plumbed into a PC and all that stuff.
Exactly. Yeah, it's never easy.
It wouldn't have been easy, no. And also recording clips. Like, if you do like something funny, you can now quickly save it, like you can, with any other game on the PS4 or the Xbox.
It's
That
like
is really cool.
Xbox Record.
Yeah, I haven't got a Kinect plugged into my Xbox, so I have to do it. You double tap the home button and a little thing pops
Do
out.
you have a funny situation where you go Xbox Record and you realise you haven't got yours in, but then you record Tina um,
Um,
doing her dancing?
Actually, I haven't.
You should do that.
I
Just say
sometimes do it
Xbox
to annoy
Record.
her though. Because she's obviously, it can be a little bit, she's a little bit self-conscious when she's dancing because it's, end of the day you're prancing around in front of the telly. So
Mm.
sometimes I like to just, record a clip for her so she can, just to be, annoying. Um,
Say funny things like Xbox off when she's halfway through a dance.
it doesn't quite work too well. If you wanted to stop someone in their tracks, you'd say Xbox Home because that would take you to the home screen, which automatically
Yes.
pauses the game. Off it then asks you, do you want to turn it off? So you can't actually instantly turn something off.
Oh, I see.
The
I see.
voice commands, I think they work about half the time. They do work, but about half the time, and they work way more for me. Although I probably have, because I have an annoying, booming, deep voice, which you can hear on this show. But my girlfriend really has to yell at it, and that's not because the TV's turned up loud. It just doesn't seem to pick her up.
Because
And so,
I've got the camera on. I brought the camera for the PlayStation, and
yeah,
then that has all the voice controls in, and it's you have to go PlayStation, and then when you want to play Advanced Warfare, you go PlayStation Advanced, and I swear it's just easy to press X.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, if you wanted to
It's like,
start a game, as long as the disc is in the drive, you have to say the whole name. So, like Xbox, go to Forza Motorsport 5. You can't say Xbox, go to Forza. You have to say the
yeah,
whole thing. That's if it even picks any of that up. And yeah, they work about half the time. I mean, the Kinect itself for the camera stuff. I mean, Tina, who has got experience of using my girlfriend has got experience of using the original Kinect
hmm.
and the Wii and the Wii U for doing sort of dancing and fitness games. She thinks the Xbox One is light years ahead in terms of keeping a track of you and not losing you in the background of your living room, not having to stand a million miles away from it. It's light years ahead of the Wii or anything else. Um, so yeah, it's great for that sort of stuff, but I have no use for it really. And I think it was a good idea. I think to be fair, I mean, I know at the end of the day they are just doing it so they can get more sales, but they have done a fairly good job at correcting a lot of the issues that people were really slating them for, and they were right to slate them for. Um, so I think it's going to catch up. I'm not sure if it'll overtake the PS4. I think they'll be fairly even, possibly all the time, unless one of them really mucks something up, or if PlayStation get exclusive rights to GTA. It's only really something like that that I think would completely, give one console a massive lead. Because it'd be interesting when Halo 5 comes out. I mean, I bought the Master Chief Collection, um,
Yeah.
and I've started playing Halo 1, but that's mainly because I had an Xbox back in the day, but I only played the first Halo. I didn't bother getting any
Well,
others.
I really liked Halo, so I bought it on my
Yeah.
Xbox, and I liked the game so much. I bought it when it came out on the PC, and I liked the game so much. I bought it again on when it came out on
Anniversary.
Xbox 360.
You're
So
the reason why they make these remakes, Stu. Stop it.
I'm
Bought
being
Halo
silly.
10
I'm
times.
being pedantic. I didn't
Yeah.
buy it. It's my point is it's the game being released again and again and again. It's Halo has been released 4 times now.
I also take issue with retro games being re-released. It's like, hey guys, we've got this Wii Virtual Console, so you can pay for the games you bought years ago again. And it's like, no.
I don't mind that. I don't mind that. I brought Zelda: A Link to the Past the other day.
Well, it's for convenience, isn't it? I mean,
It was £3 or £4.
Yeah.
Well, okay, I can play that on my Wii U gamepad. That's convenient. I'm happy about that. I think that's a really good thing. But I know what you're saying, where you've got to buy. It's somehow, emulation is wrong, and all people is against it. And personally, I don't mind emulation. People want to think, so what do you mean you don't mind emulation? You run a shop that sells, a huge selection of retro games. I go, I send to collectors, people who want to play it on the original system. But if you've got a game like Earthbound,
we sort of do both. I mean, I've got a gaming PC that I use for sort of up-to-date games, but I also have every emulator known to man on it. So I can just dial up any console and just play it with the Xbox 360 controller. But I'm also a collector, so I have the real things as well, along with the real games. And I think you're similar to that. So I like the convenience of emulation, but I do like plugging a cartridge into an old console and playing the real thing.
Exactly, the same here, really. And for me, emulation has its place.
Yeah.
As I was going to say before, is people can't afford Earthbound. If you're, a 13-year-old kid and you want to play some gems of gaming history.
Yeah, the SNES is probably the worst actually for that, isn't it?
Well, yeah, exactly. If you want to play
Neo Geo.
Oh, yeah, you want to play sort of Neo Geo games. Okay, you can't get Metal Slug for less than £1,000 on a Neo Geo. There's so many games like Secret of Mana. If you want to play that, and you want to play it on the original hardware, okay, the game's going to cost you £40 for just the cart. That's where emulation that comes into its own, and then you've got to think the publisher has made their money.
It's done. They've made their buck, and it's been, and that's it. I mean, it's not even the big games. I mean, I've got Turtles: The Hyperstone Heist for the Mega Drive. That's £40, and that's just, that's just a fairly, well, it's actually a very good game, but it's not particularly, it's not a Japanese obscure RPG, or it's not Snatcher on the Mega CD,
Exactly. So I've got no problems with that, and I don't mind them, like Nintendo, making a bit of extra money and re-releasing a few of these games on their official hardware. And if it's games that I used to like when I was a lot younger, I might pick them up if they're the right price, and I might not. Just see what happens really with them.
I thought the best example is actually Nintendo, though, because when it was the 25th anniversary of Mario, they released Mario All Stars. Yeah. When I went up for the Wii, when I heard about it, I'm like, oh great, they're going to do like some awesome like basically new Super Mario Bros. But with the old levels, basically be remakes. It wouldn't be HD because it was the Wii then, but current gen remake of. Some Mario All-Stars, but it wasn't. It was just the ROM of the SNES Mario All-Stars on a disc. But loads of people bought it because you got this quite cool soundtrack CD and a book. But I didn't touch it because I was like, well, I'm paying £30 for a SNES game,
Exactly. I mean, I'm not saying they should
be anniversary next year, so
they should get their price points correct. And they should be, under a £5 for old Super Nintendo games, N64 games. That's absolutely fine. But sort of moving on. So, what have you been playing this week? I think you've answered most of it.
We normally do that at the start, but we're so enthusiastic. We just went for it straight away. We're so opinionated.
I know.
Yeah, I've done a little bit. Well, it's been about a month, isn't it, since the last time we did a show. So a few things. Retro gaming wise, I've been doing a bit of Banjo-Kazooie. on Nintendo 64, not the god awful Xbox 360 game, which I also have and is crap.
Nuts
But
and bolts.
Banjo Kazooie, yeah, nuts and bolts. The building your little cars and things in it, just I was like, what? Up until that point, when you do a little tutorial of you running around and getting used to your moves again, that was great. And I thought, oh, it's like old school Banjo Kazooie. But then, then the whole game was taken over by making these little vehicles, which some people probably find really exciting. I thought it was horrendous. And so, yeah, I've been playing the old one, which I've been really enjoying. Well, I was going to say the single player campaign. That's kind of the entire game, is that actually? But it's probably better than Mario 64 when you think about it.
But yeah,
But
if you think about it, Mario 64 was a day one game, wasn't it? It was a
yeah, so it
it was
was
a launch
amazing.
title, so I
There's
think
one step from Mario 64 2 that I think we came to on the N64 was Banjo Kazooie, and it was almost Nintendo anyway because it was like rare when they were like bum chums with Nintendo in those days.
exactly.
And also that's for the retro game I've been playing, and I've also Watch Dogs I started playing fairly like. Um, yeah, I find it quite annoying. The hacking stuff, which is like the selling point, I find very tedious. So I'm not too sure I'm going to carry on playing it, but I'll see how I feel. If I giving it a break. Also, what else have I been playing? Pro Evo 2015.
Right, what
Which
do you think about it?
it's excellent. It's really, really, really good.
Now,
And yeah, I think it is better than FIFA.
I've been trolling all of your Facebook posts.
And rightly so. You're right. It is better.
Just to update the listeners, Trevor has been putting on Facebook. He might put a comment on there going, "Oh, I've just gone into work, have a cup of tea,"
Yeah,
and I've put on
yeah.
there, "Pro Evo's better," and I haven't
Yeah.
actually really played Pro Evo. I haven't brought it. I'm just writing it basically onto Trevor's posts.
Stu's a bit of a maverick when it comes to Facebook, and trolling and all that. So,
Oh, I don't know if I'm a maverick.
so yeah, so with the help of Stu, yeah, I've really enjoyed it. I haven't tried the sort of the Ultimate Team Might Club, whatever it's called thing, even though I've got that day one, whatever it is. Although, it's good. I've really enjoyed it. I'm just doing a league at the moment. I'm doing the French Premier League game as Lille, and I'm really really enjoying it. It's just a lot more realistic than FIFA. It's a lot slower. You really have to be whereas FIFA is just these days you just spam the sprint button, pretty much, isn't it? And
And
you
what I like about FIFA is I think the passing is a lot more fluid. Because I did
yeah,
play the demo of Pro Evo, and it felt like, oh no, I kept on losing the ball.
you had to
So,
really slow down, didn't you? Yeah,
maybe the reason I didn't like it was I wasn't very good at it.
yeah,
And I was a bit too, I've got used to FIFA this year, and
yeah, yeah.
so
Yeah, so that I really enjoyed that. Call of Duty Advanced Warfare,
I've
which
got that, yeah.
the single player campaign is a light years better than Ghosts. I'm a big GI Joe fan. It's basically GI Joe
Ah,
with
good.
gadgets and everything.
I always liked G.I. Jane.
GI Joe, or the Demi Moore film. Yeah,
Yeah.
that should be a game as well. I think. Yeah, that and Alien Isolation, which is effing brilliant. Really enjoyed that. Finally got around to playing it after having it sat unopened for a little while. So yeah, that's me. All good games. The only one that haven't really taken a shine to is Watch Dogs.
Mm.
Everything else I'm pretty happy with. And WWE 2K15, as you mentioned earlier, but I haven't actually got it going yet. Although it's actually out tomorrow, but the chap I bought it off managed to get it to me a day early. So that's for the Xbox One version. That is a 360, and because you actually got it a bit early as well, didn't you in the store? I think.
Yes, but we never sell
Don't
games
sell
early in the
2K.
shop.
Don't sell 2K. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't ever
Is
sell
that is that is that selling well?
we don't sell them early, so I wouldn't know.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
After you sold it, you just had it in there, didn't you? You didn't sell it.
yeah. I'm sure tomorrow it'll sell really well.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure it's fantastic. Um, you into
What
those games?
what have I been playing?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. What have you been playing?
Oh well, I've been playing same as you actually. Call of Duty. I've,
Well,
I've,
what do you think of it?
well, I've done a bit of the multiplayer, and I'll be honest, I really like it. And I feel I've got a new TV, so I've got a bigger TV. I've got
Oh
a, and I just feel actually I'm going to try and get into this and try and get reasonably good at it.
You getting
But
like 12-year-olds like calling you like
yeah,
sexist
I,
and homophobic names and stuff?
I just don't want to be at the bottom of the table, Trevor. I just do not want to be at the bottom
Plays
of
on
the
your
table.
mind, doesn't it? I have to admit, yeah. It's the people
Uh,
that go around stabbing people. Like you're having a nice little go, running around. You've killed a few people, and it's just this one dude that goes around just stabbing people in the back, and that is an instant kill. And it's just like they should ban that, but you know,
well, yeah, that's part of the fun.
yeah.
I picked up Bayonetta 2 on the Nintendo Wii U.
I mean, that was the big exclusive, wasn't it? They were kind of
Yeah,
hedging their bets on everybody dropping their PlayStations to get, but it actually looks quite good.
no, it's a smashing game, and
You get the first one as well, don't you? Like built in.
you get the first one. If you get the special edition, you get it on another disc.
Oh right, you have to specifically buy a special edition version.
Exactly, but it's
Yeah.
an absolutely amazing game. Graphics are phenomenal, and I'd recommend it for any Wii U owner. And if you're a fan of sort of Devil May Cry and that series of games, then I would certainly recommend it. There's a lot going on there as well. And what else did
Yeah.
I pick up? Oh, the other day well, actually last week I picked up Tales of Hearts R for
Sounds
the
like a Vita
PlayStation
game.
Vita.
It sounded like a Vita game 'cause it's quite good at the old Japanese. Is it an RPG?
Yeah, exactly. I think it came out about a year ago on the Vita in Japan. So it's just got the English text on there, so you've still got the Japanese voices, which actually I don't mind actually. It's quite nice hearing that and then reading all the text. Obviously, I don't know what they're saying. Well, I do know what they're saying.
Yeah.
It's written beneath it. But then it's got a bit of DLC that comes with it as well. So you've got some extra characters or character costumes, I think, and then some other bits. But I've not really investigated that. But it's just with the Vita, I almost like just laying in bed, relaxing, doing about an hour an hour per RPG, every night. I just find that quite relaxing to do. Whereas to me, playing something like Call of Duty or
Yeah, it's kind of, you
FIFA,
got
it,
Twitch
it
kind of
takes your energy.
control. Yeah,
Yeah, it really zaps you.
it's stressful.
Yeah, it's stressful, can be. So playing these RPGs, I can just pick it up and with the Vita, you can just put it on standby mode, just pick it up, do another hour of it, and take the story forward, bit of grinding. It's good fun.
Yeah, I do like those sort of games where, like, my sort of game, like, casual game that I could just kind of casually play without being like, having to put the headphones on and like get deeply into the storylines. Probably FIFA. And if there's something on the telly that I want to watch on simultaneously, I'll play FIFA. If I need to play a game that there's like a football match on as well, um, or just a movie or something, I can I can mute the game, and I can just quite happily play it without having to be 100 million% concentrated on it, and at the same time watch something else on telly or talk to someone. Whereas other games like even Grand Theft Auto, you kind of have to be immersed in it to some degree. And
Yeah.
obviously Call of Duty, you have to be permanently glued to the screen, or even a racing games, you can't really take your eyes off it for two
Mm.
seconds. So yeah, that's a good actually point that those games are actually quite nice that you can just relax in, and RPGs are like that because a lot of it you just spend walking around and exploring and enjoying the environment and getting um, it's not so much constant onslaught sort of thing.
No, exactly. Yeah, I totally agree with that, and it's just good. I think my gaming taste. I wouldn't want to play an RPG on
Yeah.
on on the Xbox 360 or the PS4 because I just think I couldn't see myself, managing to get enough TV time, if that makes sense. Where we're not
Yeah, I know
watching,
what you mean. Well, that's where I've
TV
got.
shows that we've recorded or stuff like that, and
Yeah,
it
that's
just
the annoying thing, isn't it? Because there are, people like us. We have kind of multiple sort of hobbies, and not just like people that just video games is their whole life. So they can literally just sit there and just play games all day because they don't really have anything other things that they're into. so they can get through game after game after game after game. And you probably know people from your shop that they can buy a game and bring it back the next day, having completely rinsed it, in a whole day. I can't do that. There's movies I want to watch. Watch tons of sport. So I have to fit games around this. I have to. I don't do it on purpose, but I kind of find myself planning what games to play. I'll sort of say, right, I played Grand Theft Auto last night, so I probably shouldn't play it again because I've got this other game I've got to start. I should sit down and start that. And then on Wednesday, I'll play this game. So I have to kind of, it sounds a bit sad, I guess, it's kind of nice dilemma because it's nice to have a bit of variation. But there's also things, I can't play any games on Thursday because there's a football match. I've got these 2 movies I need to watch. I'm gonna do that on Friday. I don't really have time to completely just, dedicate all of my spare time to gaming, which is probably a good thing. With all, it's fine, of course, if you do like to do that. But yeah, I can't.
Yeah, I know that feeling. All right. Well, I think that's been about an hour now.
I think we've bored everybody, haven't we, by now? So
we've told everyone what to play in, what we don't like. We put the world to rights actually about
we kept the football
downloadable
chat to a
content
minimum.
and remakes.
We kept the football chat to a minimum. Normally, I've like half an hour of look what happened in FIFA or Pro Evo. So
I think it's about 5 minutes of Pro Evo and FIFA talk.
Which
is pretty good. That is pretty good.
Thankfully it's a quiet period for football game releases now until like next September. So listeners, you're in for a good run now until then. And then there'll be an obligatory hour of what's going on in FIFA 16. It comes next September. But until then, it's plain sailing. So enjoy it.
What's that last bit?
That's it. So we're all done. So thanks for listening again. And yeah, hopefully we'll get another episode out in a couple of weeks. And yeah, thanks for listening. So that's goodbye from me.
That's goodbye from me.
And we'll see you later.
Keep it real.
Bye.
Bye.